Dear friends, today we have with us Dr. Srimathy Kesan, who is the founder and CEO of Space Kidz India, and who is also the driving force behind ShaktiSAT mission. And we also have with us Sukriti Narayanan, who is the ambassador for ShaktiSAT in Australia. And this is a one of a kind historic initiative ever undertaken globally. Dr. Kesan and Sukriti, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, I should be thanking you for having us. Thank you so much, Pallavi. Thank you.
Yeah. Dr. Kesan, I want to begin with you. If you could just briefly explain to us what this mission is about and how did the idea come about for undertaking this mission?
Well, it all started when we built the Azadi Sat. You know, it was a satellite built with 750 rural girls of India. So this was for the 75th Indian independence. And that was a huge success, I would say, per se, with the girls' impact. You know, the way they blossomed and they transformed from what they were from when they started and after the launch. So that was deep rooted in my mind. I mean, it was a divine force, I should say. Middle of the night, I get this idea that, we have to build a spacecraft, bringing in 108 countries together, 108 girls from each country, which means 12,000. There is a scientific purpose and a divine purpose, and together, when it is a combination, I think Mission ShaktiSAT, the name also had come just like that. So next day morning, I just wake up, write the entire proposal, and I said, "Oh my God, what is this? You know, we're embarking on such a mission. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it." So from there it all started, and to put one flag and to make people trust the mission, that's not easy, because you might have a dream, you might have a vision, but you need the entire globe to understand that this is a noble gesture, and there is nothing beyond, no commercial, no anything beyond that, except bringing in the girls together, giving them a good platform for their future. So this was a little challenge, but then I think we are there today.
Yeah. And let me just go to Sukriti. Sukriti, you are the Australian ambassador for this project. So, how has your experience been so far? And can you also add your input?
I would say, Pallavi, thank you for this. And this mission is too good to be true, I would say. Here we have with us Dr. Srimathy, and her audacious dream of uniting 108 countries. I don't know. I seriously can't even imagine how she had that such a big dream, like bringing all the countries together. And I think that laid the seed for us all working in crazy ways, I would say. And yes, we're very happy to mention that we have all the 108 countries onboarded. So it's been about 10 days now that we have all the ambassadors onboarded from 108 countries, and each one of them are working on reaching out to the 108 students, girl students from each of their countries. So to add to this, I would say this is too good to be true a mission, because when we say there is no commercials involved, and when we say it is for girl students from the rural areas. And again, I would say why it is important to make this mission reach out to every American corner is, one good thing is, yes, we have parents who are supporting their children going to NASA. They're ready to pay. They're ready to sponsor their education there, the study there. But when it comes to rural children, they all have dreams, but they don't know how to go about it. What is there beyond? They all have that curiosity, and I would say Dr. Srimathy has made it possible, by especially curating this. Like, we have 120 plus hours of training, free training for the children. There is no commercial involved at all, and this is actually, making this a big game changer, because students are so excited. It's not only about students, but it's about their families, about the communities. who feel it to be such a privilege. And yes, I am the Australian co-ambassador for this mission, but I'm also the head for global partnerships, which means we get to work with ambassadors from each and every country, and I feel so privileged to have taken up this role, because Australia truly is so multicultural by itself. And I would say what I'm doing is just reflecting how we interact, and how we flow through within our country itself. So yes, the 108 ambassadors are amazing. They are such powerhouses in their own domains. Most of them, they are space physicists, they are analog astronauts, they are scientists, and we have amazing bunch of energy that has come together. And this mission has taught me what real sisterhood means. So every day is exciting to be part of this, because we're reaching out to ministries in every single country. So, and we're reaching out to the journalists. We are building an ecosystem, because it's, when it comes to space science, it's not just about people building satellites and going to the space mission as astronauts. It's about an ecosystem.
Dr. Kesan, coming back to you now, how challenging, easy or challenging was it to first identify the 108 countries and then to execute this mission? Because we know that idea is one thing, but then on the ground execution is a totally different ball game together.
Absolutely. Here, I was very particular that we bring in these smaller countries, smaller islands who didn't even have a space office, so sat down to do a lot of research on that. Then on top of it, you did not want to have any countries with sanctions, because that's another thing that we have to be very, very careful with the geopolitical involved. Though we are working for peace, seldom things are misunderstood. So that's the reason the homework needs to be very, very profound. So sat down and did a complete research on all these things, zeroed down the countries alphabetically, and started reaching out to people. Initially we thought, like, reach out to the high commissions in India, so through them it will be easy to identify a woman ambassador and all that. So started writing to all these high commissions who we had prior work experience and everything. So they were pretty supportive of that. Then the word spread. So, but whatever said and done, the government office can do only a little bit. It is your personal effect, your personal contact, and how you're able to represent this whole thing. So, it is a huge challenge, but I think that's the way of life. If you have to leave a legacy, if you have to build something like this, and if you want the girls to remember that dream big, and when you dream big, it is possible to do something like this. You can achieve it. So you have to work hard towards it. So I think with a little bug-sized team, we were able to start contacting. I think LinkedIn was a huge supporter, I should say, and a lot of these women groups, aerospace networks, and everything that supported, and the World Space Week, because we are a member in all these places. So that really helped us to, bring in all these people. But whatever said and done, you need to really drive in that trust factor, which is very important, because this is a project where we are going to be raising funds for building this orbiter, lander, and the educational component, and the girls flying to India. If I have to narrate you in a bit, when you select these girls, select these ambassadors, 108 ambassadors are chosen. From the 108 ambassadors, they will be choosing 108 girls in their own countries. So we wanted them to have a connect with the education department, the education ministry, and the science and tech ministry in each of the countries, so that everything is formalized and they exactly know that this is going to be building their future. So that's the reason we wanted a tie-up with all these people, and the space agencies came forward, like Austrian Space Agency, the Spanish Space Agency, South African, Argentinian Space Agency. So all these people have come together now to support us. And then from there on, we're going to be rolling out a curriculum for 120 hours. Subsequent to that, It'll all be online. It'll all be online because of the varied time zones and everything. But the actual game starts when one child is being handpicked by each of these countries and they are brought to India. So the woman ambassador and the youth leader, I should say, youth STEM leader who will be chosen out of these 108 girls will come to India. So we're going to be having a huge number of girls coming to India, almost about 300 of them coming to India in the month of January of 2026. And here we are going to be having the hands-on, working and integrating the satellite. And here we will be teaching the nuances of the orbiter lander that is going to be flying in this moon mission. Initially, we thought we will have, the spacecraft going around the lunar orbit, but then became a little more ambitious and thought, going so far, why not we just drop something on the moon? So we have a mission planning and a technical core team which is working on that. So it's divided into different teams, and all the teams come together and we're working on this whole mission. So Suk has been a great supporter for the Connect, and the individual talents are being emulated here and identified, and I think the synergy comes when we work together, when we collaborate.
Yeah. And Sukriti, coming back to you, how has the response been in Australia, and how much involvement is there from here in the mission?
I would say yes. We are rolling out this mission. We're reaching out to people. We're writing to government bodies. Yes, we would like to have more support, more arms and legs. Yes, people are curious about what is happening. We see interest, and we are seeing slow media coverage, support happening. The reach out is happening. But definitely, we need more awareness being created around this, and we need more participation, because I think that is where, yes, our mission gets successful. And as mentioned, yes, we have the other countries who are coming forward. We have the ministries and the science tech ministries, PMO's office, totally going all out for this. I really hope and I wish we have our government supporting the same way.
Yeah, and just a follow-up question: that how important is it to get more girls into STEM? I mean, the situation is much better than what it was before. I think, at least in India, there's a lot more participation now. And but overall, globally, how important is it to get more girls into STEM, because they do remarkably well? But we have seen that as you go up the progression ladder, there's the gender inequality or gender disparity keeps increasing. So how important is that?
You actually said it right. You nailed it. You know what? Until post graduation, you can see a number of girls. The percentage of girls is almost like 63 or 64 when they do their masters. But the same thing when it culminates to a scientific job per se, and leadership roles. Leadership roles hardly about 3 to 4% in the STEM industry, and 14 to 19%, of them, the workforce in the space industry. So, I mean, it's just a minuscule. So you are nowhere seen. Even in panel discussions, if you see, it is like 5 men and 1 woman sitting there, in a hardcore technical discussion and everything. So this scenario needs to change. So everything, we cannot keep going back and forth to the government, and, we cannot keep banging their doors. So as individuals, I think we need to take this first step. We have the responsibility to make this to be understood by every girl child, whether or not you are made for beauty products or fashion industry. You also are an integral part in the system, in this ecosystem of space sciences or STEM in that matter. So this has to be drilled into every girl child, because even when you buy toys for the girls, when they are babies or when they are little children, most of it, the parents, they buy dolls, and they buy something to do with makeup and everything for girls, whereas it's something to do with technology for the boys. I think it has to change from there. So we're going to be having a mascot, a scientist, for this mission. So, we are trying to see where all possible we can drive this into every little girl's head that she is a part of this system, this entire scientific ecosystem. So don't shy away, don't shy away. Because I understand that space missions are extremely expensive, and the thought of building a satellite is again a little nervous, because when you have the investment done, the ROI is very, very little, and it takes at least 10 years for you to get an ROI from a space industry. So, there is this thought process, oh my God, what am I going to do without an ROI? Who am I going to ask? How am I going to navigate this whole thing? How am I going to make this big? These are little things that, really are a bother to every girl child. So if there are some kind of, I know I really don't like to ask for subsidies and all that, but if you have to bring the rural population and everything into the workforce, and if you have to see more women founders in the defense or in the space industry, I think something little should be done by every government in every country. Only then this can be, have a equal, equality on the table. Otherwise, the decisions are always man-made. There is no equal decisions made, right? So the voices are not really heard because they're still feeble and sweet. Let our let our voices be heard.
Voices be heard. Yeah.
Let our voices be heard. Even in the mission, hardcore technology here, we've invited technical expertise and engineers from Lesotho, from Eswatini, and we've got from Ethiopia. So building the orbiter and lander, it is going to be global. It's not going to be only the team from the core team from Space Kids India, or the core a team from India. No, it is not like that. It's open and it's global. So we are bringing engineers from all the countries, women. So that's the best part. That's the best part. So now we are working remote, but all these tech ambassadors will be coming to India while the integration is happening and the testing is happening, and subsequently putting it in the rocket. So first step is to create awareness. So that's what I think largely we are trying to do: create that awareness, sow the seed, leave it. Maybe the governments can then take it forward.
And I would like to say here that one of the most profound books, the books that made an impact on me, was The Pale Blue Dot by Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan, okay.
When you think about the Earth in those terms, that this is this is the only home we have, and then you realize that all the boundaries are actually made by humans. But thank you so much, Dr. Kesan and Sukriti, for your time, and I wish you all the best for your project. And I'm pretty sure I'll be interviewing both of you in the future as well. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pallavi. God bless you.
Thank you.